From First Coast News, this is Good Morning Jacksonville.
For the first time in a decade, the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to the playoffs.
Inside handoff, Tommy Bohannon, touchdown Jacksonville. Jaden Nickens, touchdown Jacksonville.
The last time the Jaguars were in the playoffs was 2007. Quarterback Blake Bortles was still in high school.
The first version of the iPhone came out that summer.
And Miley Cyrus was still Hannah Montana.
Really, really grateful, obviously, and proud of the players, the football leadership, and the fans.
Jaguars going to the Super Bowl! I got a feeling! Jaguars going to the Super Bowl! Go Jags!
With the playoffs clinched, the Big Cats now have their eyes set on the Super Bowl. It's in Minneapolis.
It's Victory Monday here on Good Morning Jacksonville.
Good morning. Victory Monday. Never felt so good. In fact, I need an 85 jersey. I want a Mickens jersey. That's all I want for Christmas. And if you like warm weather for Christmas travel, you've got it this week. Look at this. We've got more rain than snow on the map. 79 for our high. So winter officially begins Thursday. We got a spring pattern all the way to International Falls. They'll be above freezing. So when the nation's ice box is thawed out, look what this means for our weather wheel. Well, first of all, gorgeous sunrise. We got the high cirrus clouds coming up at 20,000 feet. The flow from Hawaii continues today. By lunchtime, take it outside. You got relatives coming in from out of town. No relative jinx in this forecast because we've got mid-70s at noon on our way to a high 2-degree guarantee high of 79 degrees. Now let's get to Katie Jeffries, sporting the Jags teal. She's all ready to go on this Victory Monday. In the
You got to. It's Victory Monday, guys. Drink it in. It's been 10 years since we've experienced this. So you know what? You enjoy your day out there, Jags fans. This is a look towards the Acosta. Starting to pick up, but things overall look very nice. So that is a good start to the morning. Let's take a look towards your traffic maps here. And overall, moving pretty well. I-10, no big problems here. And then once you hit 301, it's about 9 minutes before you would cross 295. But no problems along I-10 from Lake City all the way towards Jacksonville. Going across the Dames Point Bridge, no problems there either. 11 minutes from Atlantic Boulevard across the bridge over towards I-95. The west side of town here, traveling towards NAS Jackson, no problems on Roosevelt or on Blanding. So around the Jacksonville area, roadways are pretty nice. But really, the travel story of the morning, and I would say even yesterday's huge story as well, Atlanta Airport. So let's go to our Lindsay Boach. She is at Jacksonville International Airport with more on if there are delays or cancellations today. Lindsay.
Hey, good morning, Katie. Yes, 11 hours of no power at Atlanta's airport is definitely trickling down into Jacksonville International Airport. And I want to point out one thing here on the arrival board. 2 flights coming in from Atlanta. Both of them are actually arriving earlier than scheduled, by about 5 minutes or so, but still, that is a good sign. Looking at the departures, though, we do have 2 canceled flights at the moment. One of them departing in 2 minutes. One of them supposed to be departing in about 10 minutes. Again, those flights to Atlanta are canceled. The next flight out of JIA to Atlanta isn't until after 9 o'clock, so make sure you're checking with your airline before you fly out of JIA to Atlanta this morning. Reporting live from JIA, Lindsay Boach, First Coast News on your side.
All right, thanks for that, Lindsay. Well, a lot of us are still pinching ourselves this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the real deal. The wait is over. Your Jacksonville Jaguars, they're in the playoffs. What?
They're flying high, and there's no delays on the Jaguars airline, I'm telling you that. A decade's a long time. See, I was 24. I was drinking a lot of Red Bull, to tell you that much.
You still are.
I only like once a week. It's paid off, and the patience is so sweet. First Coast Sports' Alyssa Lang, Mike Kay joining us now in studio with the wonderful things that are all coming up next for the Big Cats. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, guys. And, of course, what's next is popping bottles for the Jags on this Victory Monday, right, Mike?
Clearly.
How many bottles of champagne did you pop last night?
Not very many, even though it looks like I probably had 1 or 2.
Okay, so this season, Blake Bortles, safe to say, has all of us eating our words because none of us predicted this to happen. Bortles is Mr. December so far, quarterback passer rating of 143.6. He's got the highest passer rating of any quarterback in the NFL right now, Mike.
Yeah, the last 3 games have been something else. I mean, he has really turned this thing around. He's hitting wide receivers with accuracy. He's making the right decisions. He's looking like a veteran quarterback.
What's the change? Is it a confidence thing, in your opinion?
I think so. I think he's more confident. People need to remember, while he had Nathaniel Hackett last year as his interim offensive coordinator, this is an entirely new offense, and he's learned it.
So Blake has also kind of had to work with some different tools this year, losing Allen Robinson. He hasn't had Allen Hurns for a couple weeks. Keelan Cole yesterday, the undrafted free agent, just made the Texans secondary look absolutely ridiculous. 186 total yards, which is what the Texans' entire offense had. What have you been seeing from him this season?
What's crazy about that stat is he had all that production by the end of the third quarter. He's just continued to evolve in this offense, and actually he's got 334 yards and 3 touchdowns over the last 3 games.
Obviously, this defense has been the story of the season. Calais Campbell adding to his sack total yesterday, but these guys just continue to look lights out.
Yeah, I mean, when you can get pressure up the interior, it's almost worse for a quarterback than getting hit from the side because they don't know how to step up in the pocket.
So next up for the Jaguars, they kind of just have to control their own destiny, win out. They go to San Francisco this weekend and just hope they don't cough up anything silly on the road. Jimmy Garoppolo did just beat Tennessee yesterday by kind of the skin of their teeth. But what do you think the Jags have to do out in California to make sure they come home with the win?
They're going to have to put up points on offense. The 49ers are not a high-scoring team. Their defense is pretty good. They'll keep them in games, but if Blake's playing the way he is, I don't see a lot of teams that can beat the Jaguars.
Now, I will say, yesterday we were talking to Telvin Smith in the locker room, and he was asked, why aren't the Jaguars in this Super Bowl conversation along with the Steelers and the Patriots? And his answer was, well, what did we do to the Steelers? 30-9. That's what they did to the Steelers. Of course, we'll have much more Jaguars coverage coming up for the next month, 2 months until the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. Follow this guy on Twitter, Mike K, and of course, Alyssa Lang. Guys, back to you.
We're looking forward to all of it. Thanks,
Amen.
guys. Now 37 minutes past the hour on this Monday morning. Well, it's a movement that swept the nation and won Time Magazine's Person of the Year. We're talking about the Me Too movement. It sheds light on sexual harassment, assault, and rape. Now the Jackson Women's Center is seeing an uptick in calls. How they're helping survivors, that's just ahead in 2 minutes.
As the Me Too movement has swept across the nation, more and more women as well as men are coming forward with their stories of sexual harassment, assault, and rape. Now here locally, the Women's Center of Jacksonville says it has seen a 53% increase in calls to their rape crisis hotline compared to this time last year. And the Women's Center wants survivors to know they believe you and they are here to help.
It began with an explosive article about Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, but it quickly became a movement of solidarity for survivors of sexual violence. #MeToo swept across the internet.
We're seeing this movement as a really wonderful thing for women to communicate the things that have happened to them that they have hidden for a long time, that they have felt shame for, and that shame does not lie with them.
And as the hashtags increased, the phones at the Women's Center of Jacksonville began ringing. A 53% increase in calls to the Rape Crisis Hotline. Many were calls from adults who had experienced sexual violence in their childhoods.
You know, we've had individuals in their 50s and 60s who've never told a soul, and they've lived with that their whole lives. So that's truly why we are here, to help those individuals heal.
They want to smash the feelings of guilt or isolation and replace that with feelings of hope and love. With the increase in calls, they're expanding to their new center off of Emerson, which they are hoping to open in April. It will be a place of counseling and a place to help collect evidence after a rape or sex assault. A needed expansion as more and more survivors are finding their voice.
And I am a survivor not only of sexual harassment but of rape. And so I understood the movement and I was happy to be a part of it. And it has been a powerful thing for us who are survivors.
As Lisa Everly says, there is no judgment inside these walls. She fully understands why survivors often don't speak up.
It happened to me when I was 17. I talked about it when I was in my 50s. So I understand how the shame can keep you from speaking about it for a long time.
But counselors want survivors to know it doesn't matter if it happened days ago or decades ago. They are here to help.
It is truly, truly a community issue. And it's not a man's issue, it's not a woman's issue, and it can happen to anyone, any age, any time in their lives.
So here's the number to the rape crisis hotline. There is someone there to answer it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you want to learn more about the Women's Center, maybe get involved and help out or donate, I'll put a link to their website inside this story at firstcoastnews.com. Now let's turn it over to meteorologist Mike Prangley here with me because got to talk about weather, and I love the Jags bow tie you're rocking.
Love your outfit, looking good, and yes, happy Victory Monday. And check it out. Do you realize that fog more of an issue this week than cold weather? In fact, some visibilities near St. Augustine down to a mile. Temperatures not far from where our average highs are this time of year. So 58 Jacksonville, but Orange Park 65. Where's the cold? Oh, about 3,000 miles from home up into the Arctic Circle. That's where the brunt of it is. And what's happening is we've got that polar jet stream locked up in Canada. So it's not going to make a move farther south anytime soon. Let's go right to the 10-day forecast. We've got Hanukkah through Wednesday, upper 70s to low 80s. That 82 would tie a record. Warm weather for the start of winter, 74. And then as we head into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, that's when we'll start to see a change. This weekend, low 80s if you have relatives visiting from out of town. And then a cold front comes through, and then we'll have falling temperatures on Christmas Day. But that's not until next week.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Let's start with a live look outside. Beautiful sunrise this morning here along the Buckman Bridge. Picking up on that side that leads you towards the Mandarin area, but I'm not seeing any major congestion just yet, but it is starting to build if you're headed out the door. So just kind of prepare yourself for that. Do see bits of fog kind of along I-95 near the state line there between Florida and Georgia, so be careful there. If you're traveling across the Main Street Bridge, it's open now. It's going to close overnight tonight from 6:30 until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. You just use either the Fuller Warren Bridge or a detour instead. So we'll keep you updated if anything rolls in, but for right now, enjoy your Victory Monday.
All right, guys, we are rocking and rolling on a Victory Monday. I tell you what, though, up in Atlanta, what a mess. 30,000 people affected by the power outage at the Atlanta airport on Sunday. Thousands left in the dark. I'm talking in the middle of that massive airport. Some were actually on the tarmac as well. How this could impact your flights right here in Jacksonville, coming up in your Power Block of News. Stay right there. You're watching Good Morning Jacksonville. #GMJ.
Certainly understand that the outage has caused frustration and anger, and we are doing everything that we can to get folks back home right away.
Passengers at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport out in Atlanta were left in the dark after a power outage on Sunday. It happened around 1 in the afternoon, leaving people stranded all across the country in terminals and on the tarmac as well. As of 6 this morning, flights are returning to normal. Now, shortly after, the FAA put a ground stop on flights headed to Atlanta, stranding people all across the country. Flights in the air at the time were diverted, and all international flights had to land somewhere else. Now, after 10 hours in the dark, the lights came back on. In a late-night press conference, a Georgia Power spokesperson said that there was a fire in their system tunnels.
Imagine what it would be like to be in that giant airport in the dark like that. So spooky. Now, what about a potential for a backup system? Georgia Power says the switch to activate the second system was actually damaged in that very fire as well. Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed told stranded passengers they could stay at the Georgia International Convention Center. Others chose to wait it out or stayed in a hotel. Again, this outage affecting 30,000 people all over the country as we're just 1 week away from Christmas. Today, as a matter of fact, hundreds of flights canceled for the day, including some right here in Jacksonville. So we go to Lindsay Boach, who is stationed live right now at Jacksonville International for more on what folks can expect as they head out there on a busy back-to-work day. Hello, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning, Lewis and Keitha. You were talking about some of those flights that are resuming at 6 o'clock or have resumed at 6 o'clock. Take a look at the arrival board here at Jacksonville. You can see 2 of those flights from Atlanta are now coming in just a little bit earlier, actually about 5 minutes earlier than scheduled. So that is some good news. However, if you were flying out of JIA to Atlanta, you need to check your flight because the earliest flight that's leaving to go to Atlanta isn't until after 9 o'clock. So all of the flights before then have been canceled, as you see up there. Now, the airlines are giving away waivers. There are certain restrictions that each airline has depending upon, again, which airline you're flying. Delta, a travel waiver has been issued for customers who are flying to, from, or through Atlanta, allowing customers to make one-time changes to their travel plans. If you're flying Southwest and you were scheduled to leave either yesterday or today, you can alter your travel plans without paying an additional charge. Now, if you're flying JetBlue, you can rebook your flight through Tuesday, so tomorrow, prior to the departure time of the originally scheduled flight. Customers can also opt for a refund if you don't want to fly anytime soon. Now, if you're on American, the change fee may be waived if you bought your ticket before yesterday, you're scheduled to travel yesterday or today and can travel before the 21st, and you don't change your destination city. And then if you're flying on United, the change fee or any difference in fare will be waived for flights that are departing on or before the 22nd. That's a lot of information that I just threw at you. The best thing to do is to check our website, firstcoastnews.com, and also check your flight before you come to the airport to make sure that you are leaving on time. Reporting live at JAA, Lindsay Boach, First Coast News, on your side.
You heard Lindsay mention there our website, firstcoastnews.com. There you'll be able to find the very latest information and everything you need to know before heading out to the airports. Let's check in now with Lou for a quick look at your national headlines.
Thanks, Keitha. Yes, 6:50. A man is in custody in Australia charged with acting as an agent for North Korea, trying to sell its missile parts, which tops your international headlines this Monday morning at 6:50. The 59-year-old man had been living in Australia for 30 years. He's now accused of making potential trades worth tens of millions of dollars. And officials say he was using encrypted communications to broker the sale of components for ballistic missiles, all generating cash for the isolated regime of Kim Jong-un in North Korea. The latest threat came last month, an intercontinental ballistic missile that can allegedly strike anywhere in the United States. Well, the Carolina Panthers will be going up for sale, it seems. Team owner Jerry Richardson posted a letter online Sunday night announcing this move. Richardson assured fans that the sales process will not start until the last game is played. Meanwhile, he says the team will not even entertain inquiries as well. The decision comes after Sports Illustrated reported allegations of workplace misconduct made against Richardson. Well, the prediction certainly came through at this weekend's box office. Star Wars: The Last Jedi has ruled. Moviegoers paid an estimated $220 million to see the second installment of the third Star Wars trilogy. That's the second best movie opening in the United States ever, right behind the movie's predecessor, The Force Awakens, which did $249 million in its opening weekend. All right, meteorologist Mike Prankley standing by. Look at our out-the-door weather. We get back to school and work on a Victory Monday. Hello, Mike.
Hey, great to be with you, Victory Monday. You remember 2 weeks ago, every single state had snow. And now this morning, as we look at travel weather, every single state with above average temperatures. Welcome to a La Nina winter that's on the way, and in this pattern you get these big ups and downs across our beautiful country. So we're seeing that today. How about at home here? 79 degrees for our high, 63 in Atlanta. Good news, not picking up any travel delays, all right? With all the warm weather, we don't have any snowstorms anywhere. That includes Hartsfield International, Newark, New Jersey, LaGuardia right now, no delays, and it's green light go, although there's a little patchy fog, so I put a little yellow light in there. Some visibility in St. Johns County down to about a mile. 58 to start, a 2-degree guarantee high today. Fantastic 79. Where are we heading? Spring and December. That's right, near record highs as we go, and especially Wednesday. I think we would tie that record. 7-day forecast not showing any cool weather anytime soon. In fact, on that 10-day forecast, we got to wait till next week. I think Santa comes in with the shorts, and then he drops off some cold weather with falling temperatures on Christmas Day.
All right, Victory Monday. Let's head out the door. Beautiful sunrise out there. I mean, look at that. The sky is on fire. It's gorgeous. Roadways are picking up, but not bad at all. This is kind of near I-95, near where you would kind of exit for the Acosta. Main Street bridges are continue across along the Fuller Warren Bridge, but a beautiful sight as you drive in. Let's take a look towards your traffic maps, help you out. And it is starting to pick up, as you can see, especially along I-10. Once you get past 295, that's where you've got to start hitting your brakes a little bit, but that is to be expected. We see that congestion every morning from people that are headed to work. Buckman Bridge, same story, about 15 minutes here to go from Blanding across the bridge towards I-95, but right now, no major crashes to report. Back to you.
All right, Katie, thank you so much. It's 6:53. Time for your top stories to help you get out the door this morning. The state fire marshal now investigating this, what may have caused a townhouse apartment fire on the south side. Still a live look from the scene this morning that's still very, very active off Phillips Highway, very near Emerson. You can see several fire trucks still working the scene. We're told it started on the 7th floor of those townhomes, and 2 people were actually trapped on the 8th floor. We know that all of the residents, including some with disabilities and senior citizens, are being relocated to shelters. JFRD says the fire was put out before 5 o'clock this morning, and 4 people have to be treated for smoke inhalation. Stay with us on air and online as this story develops.
According to the city of Jacksonville's latest tally, Hurricane Irma delivered an $85 million blow to the city. The biggest share of the total is about $40 million for hauling away all of the debris that was left behind. We all remember that. Nearly $17 million for dunes and river protection, and just over $15 million for personnel and equipment costs for emergency response operations. Hurricane Matthew cost the city about $45 million.
Well, as CSX employees go back to work today, they'll have learned about the passing of their CEO, Hunter Harrison. He died Saturday. Chief Operating Officer James Foote's now acting CEO. Harrison immediately began slashing costs after taking charge in March. He laid off thousands of employees and really changed CSX's entire operations model. According to the Wall Street Journal, the company lost about $4 billion in market value following this news.
She didn't want credit. You know, it was sort of like she was this Mother Teresa of Jacksonville, and the only black woman at that time that could go between the black and white community to get things done.
A staple in Jacksonville. Her list of accomplishments is lengthy. This morning, the city will unveil a landmark honoring Eartha White. The Clara White Mission here in Jacksonville is named after her mother. Eartha started that mission. Today's dedication takes place at 9:30 this morning at Forsyth and Broad Streets. More than 100 people are expected to attend.
A reminder for parents of Venetia Elementary students, because of that fire in the cafeteria we told you about Friday, students will go to school at John Stockton Elementary. No one was injured in that, and district officials say the fire was accidental. But again, students must go to John Stockton Elementary for the remainder of the semester until the holiday break. Now, when the lights finally came on at Hartsfield-Jackson International Atlanta, a Christmas miracle happened because this was on Sunday. Think about it. Chick-fil-A open for business, handing out food to people in the airport on a Sunday, just doing their part to help those caught in a really awful situation. I mean, it was gorgeous to watch. I know y'all were in the stands, but watching it on TV, it was so sexy. The Jags looking good. It's a decade in the way to the Jaguars going to the playoffs, baby. Listen, win out. Let's see what happens. Roll the dice. Very well could get a home game week 1 of the playoffs. There could even be a bye and a home game on the horizon. In fact, the Steelers really got shorted yesterday by the refs, in my opinion.
I know.
First Coast News Sports Director Chris Porter is going to be live in San Francisco on Sunday as the Jags play the 49ers there. What a big day. So much in store for the Jaguars ahead.
It doesn't get much better. For us here at home, hey, welcome back, Keitha. She loves the warmer weather. You're going to love this week. We don't see any cold until next week.
It's coming. There it is.
It's coming, but probably not until Christmas Day with falling temperatures. Until then, flip-flops, shorts, and enjoy.
And guys, on this Victory Monday, look at the sunrise. It's beautiful out there. It is picking up on the Fuller Warren Bridge, but so far not too bad. Victory Monday.
It is a Victory Monday. Enjoy it, everybody. A little teal, a little black today won't hurt. It'll go a long way.